Imagine drifting through the silent corridors of time, where forgotten empires whisper beneath layers of dust and stone. Across every continent lie wonders so immense they defy belief, colossal ruins carved by vanished hands, cryptic relics that hum with untold secrets, and once vibrant cities now swallowed by ocean's deep embrace. These are not bedtime fairy tales, but genuine enigmas unearthed by scholars and explorers alike. Tonight we invite you to journey with us into the heart of history's greatest puzzles, where science meets speculation and every discovery sparks more questions than answers. So settle into your pillow, let the world outside fade away, and prepare to unlock mysteries lost to time. If you're ready to wander these hidden realms with Sleepy History Chronicles, gently tap like, subscribe, and join us before the very first secret unfolds. Beneath the emerald hills of Shanxi province lies a realm of grandeur and mystery. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang, China's first emperor. Picture an underground palace vast enough to rival his earthly capital, buried beneath layers of loess for more than 2,000 years, its treasures, traps, and life-size terracotta sentinels waiting in hushed anticipation. Tonight, we brush aside the dust of legend to discover why this mausoleum remains one of history's greatest enigmas. Qin Shi Huang took the throne at age 13 and, by 210 BCE, had welded warring kingdoms into a single empire. He commissioned an afterlife worthy of his power, rivers of liquid mercury to mirror China's great waterways, vaulted ceilings inlaid with pearls that mimicked the celestial heavens, and automatons, crossbows set to fire at any who dared trespass. Ancient annals record that 700,000 laborers toiled for decades, crafting each of the terracotta army's thousands of figures with unique expressions, as though each clay warrior might one day awaken. Why then has the emperor's true burial chamber never been opened? Modern surveys detect strikingly high mercury levels beneath the mound, confirming the mercury rivers of legend. Yet when the terracotta warriors first saw daylight, their brilliant colors faded within minutes. Archaeologists warn that exposing Qin's tomb could irreparably harm delicate silks, lacquerware, and, perhaps worst of all, release toxic mercury into the environment on a massive scale. But science alone does not explain the silence. Deeply rooted cultural reverence casts imperial tombs as sacred ground. To violate the emperor's rest is not merely an archaeological breach, but an offense to ancestral spirits. Local law insists that disturbances invite calamity of both chemical and karmic kind. As a result, even satellite data remains classified, locked away as if the world is not yet ready to face what lies beneath. Yet the thirst for forbidden knowledge endures. Some fringe theorists propose that Qin's inner vault holds evidence of advanced metallurgy or mechanical marvels lost to time, technologies that, if rediscovered, might revolutionize our understanding of ancient innovation. Others dream of finding scrolls bearing the emperor's private philosophies, or secret maps guiding one beyond the Great Wall. Each hypothesis, no matter how unlikely, speaks to our longing for a tangible connection to a past that continues to elude us. Moonlight filtering through hidden shafts may one day reveal more, but for now, the tomb stands sealed, a silent testament to ambition, devotion, and the mysteries we dare not fully uncover. As our curiosity propels us ever forward, we leave Qin Shi Huang's resting place behind and journey to the wind-swept steppes of Mongolia, where the lost tomb of Genghis Khan waits in eternal silence. Beneath the endless wind-swept steppes of Mongolia lies a secret older than any map. The final resting place of Genghis Khan. Imagine a silent plain stretching to the horizon, where not a single stone marks the grave of history's greatest conqueror. For over 8 centuries, explorers, archaeologists, and treasure hunters have scoured these boundless grasslands, only to find it more questions than answers. Born Temujin in 1162, Genghis Khan rose from tribal exile to unite the Mongol tribes under a single banner. By the time of his death in 1227, he had forged the largest contiguous empire the world had ever seen. Yet, when he breathed his last, he commanded a burial so cloaked in secrecy that even the path to his tomb was wiped from memory. Chroniclers speak of an elite escort that slaughtered every soul they encountered on the journey home, soldiers, servants, and family alike, so that no living witness could reveal the way. Some legends go further. 1,000 horses were driven across the burial mound, trampling the earth until not a hoof print remained. Rivers were said to have been diverted to flood the grave, and dense forests planted to cloak any lingering trace. How could the founder of an empire vanish so completely from the face of the earth? Modern scholars believe the tomb lies somewhere near Burkhan Khaldun, the sacred mountain where Temujin once prayed. But every time an excavation nears permission, local nomads invoke ancestral oaths of silence. To disturb the Khan's rest is considered a violation of cosmic balance, a taboo thought to unleash curses no mortal can withstand. Stories abound of compasses spinning wildly at dusk, of digging tools snapping under invisible pressure, and of entire teams falling ill after venturing too close. Still, science presses on. In recent years, drone surveys and satellite imagery projects have scanned the steppes for subtle ground anomalies. Crowdsourced volunteers analyze terabytes of data, marking depressions that could hide burial pits. Promising sites emerge, only to be shelved when permits are denied. Mongolia's government torn between protecting its heritage and unlocking a discovery that could rewrite history. Yet some dare to dream of more than spiritual fear and political caution. Fringe theorists whisper of hidden archives, scrolls penned by Genghis himself, detailing secret campaigns or alliances lost to time. Others imagine treasures beyond imagining, chests of pearls, silks from Xi'an, armor forged by Khitan masters. What if beneath that unmarked mound lie artifacts capable of transforming our understanding of 13th century Eurasia? Tonight, as you picture the cold wind blowing across that vast, silent plain, consider the forces that guard Genghis Khan's legacy, nature's expanse, cultural reverence, and the unbreakable chains of legend. Even as our technology sharpens, the tomb remains locked, an eternal puzzle at history's edge. And so our quest carries us onward, from Mongolia's secret grasslands to the hidden wonders of Europe, where colossal mysteries await. Next we ride toward the French countryside to unearth the astonishing giant of Castelnau. Beneath the quiet winter fields of Castelnau, an ordinary mound of earth yielded an extraordinary secret in 1890. Imagine frost-laden ground cracking open to reveal bone fragments so immense they seem torn from legend. A femur twice the width of any modern human, a tibia nearly a foot longer than expected, and an arm bone the size of an ancient tree trunk. Anthropologist Durand Vacher de la Hougue documented these finds in La Nature, estimating a height of 11 feet for the individual to whom they belonged. France's scientific community buzzed with astonishment. Had a race of giants once strode across Bronze Age Europe? Yet within years, the fragments vanished. Museum catalogues held no trace, and records fell mysteriously silent. Some whispered that military interests quietly claimed the bones for secret research. Others believed custodians, spooked by the enormity of the discovery, returned them to the earth. Without the originals, modern scholars rely on de la Hougue's sketches and measurements, enough to tantalize but never to confirm. Local folklore preserved the giant's shadow. Villagers spoke of twilight apparitions guiding lost livestock, of hidden caverns where mere mortals dared not enter. These stories, passed down through generations, spoke of towering figures whose voices boomed like thunder across the valley. Were they echoes of a forgotten giant culture, or embellishments born of awe and fear? Some fringe voices propose an even more audacious theory: that Castelnau's giant was not of this world. They cite corroded metal rings and gear-like fragments allegedly found alongside the bones, arguing they could be relics of a visitor from the stars. Mainstream archaeologists dismiss these claims, pointing to natural mineral formations and 19th century hoaxes. Yet the allure of an extraterrestrial connection lingers, feeding our fascination with the unknown. How does a discovery of such magnitude slip through history's cracks? The answer lies in a blend of reverence and bureaucracy. France's heritage laws tightened around any human remains, and local authorities, wary of sensationalism, restricted access to the site. Over time, civil servants shuffled responsibilities, and the giant of Castelnau receded into obscurity. Still, the mystery endures. Every winter, as snow blankets those silent fields, visitors walk the same pathways once trodden by de Lauge, eyes scanning the ground for a glimpse of fractured bone or a buried tool. Despite centuries of excavation elsewhere, Castelnau remains sealed, a testament to the secrets that even diligent science cannot pry open. Tonight, as you picture those frosty fields and ponder the fate of France's lost giant, prepare to dive deeper into the Earth's hidden wonders. Our next journey leads us beneath verdant farmland to discover the engineering marvel of the Lyu Caves Complex, where perfectly carved chambers defy explanation, and the past waits patiently in shadow. Beneath the sun-dappled rice terraces of Lyu County, an ordinary pit yielded an extraordinary secret in 1992. Imagine water draining from a farmer's pond, and instead of mud, a sheer wall of stone yawns open, revealing a vast chamber perfectly carved as if hewn by a modern laser. Tonight, we descend into the Lyu Caves Complex to uncover how a subterranean city of 20 interlinked caverns, each soaring over 30 meters high, could vanish entirely from history's record. Archaeologists date these flawless caverns to more than 2,000 years ago, roughly the Qin or early Han dynasties, yet not a single chronicle mentions their existence. Walls are smoothed to a mirror finish, pillars rise like cathedrals, and wave-like carvings flow unbroken from ceiling to floor. No tool marks remain, no pottery shards or human remains hint at who built them or why. How could a project of such scale and precision leave absolutely no trace in the annals of time? Scholars have offered practical theories: grain storage chambers, military shelters, or ritual sanctuaries carved by an anonymous workforce. But each idea evaporates under scrutiny. Geologists note that the uniformity of the carvings suggests a single, centralized plan, far beyond the piecemeal efforts of farmers or soldiers. Engineers marvel at the logistics, quarrying, transport, and carving of tens of thousands of cubic meters of basalt, all without metal tools or wheeled vehicles. Yet the allure of the unexplained persists. Fringe researchers propose that the Lyu Caves were built by a forgotten culture possessing lost techniques, perhaps advanced drilling methods now erased by time. Some even whisper of extraterrestrial intervention, pointing to the impossibly straight cuts and rhythmic patterns as evidence of otherworldly precision. Could these chambers be the legacy of a civilization older and wiser than any known dynasty? As you envision torchlight flickering against those polished walls, consider the human drama hidden in the silence, the anonymous laborers who toiled in darkness, the whispered ceremonies that may have echoed through the vaulted halls, and the ultimate decision to seal these wonders beneath millennia of earth. These caves challenge our understanding of ancient skill, faith, and ambition. Our journey into the depths of Lyu ends here, but the mysteries of colossal construction continue to beckon. Next, we travel from carved caverns to towering stone giants in the heart of Lebanon, where the Baalbek Megaliths stand as an even grander testament to humanity's drive to move mountains. High above the Bekaa Valley, where rocky cliffs slope toward endless horizons, lie the foundations of a wonder that defies explanation, the Baalbek Megaliths. Towering stone blocks, each weighing between 750 and 800 tons, form the very base of the Roman Temple of Jupiter. Imagine standing before a single block as long as a semi-truck, its surface hewn with such precision that centuries of weathering have left it almost immaculate. How did ancient builders quarry, transport, and set these behemoths with no modern machinery? Historians once credited Roman ingenuity, wooden rollers, earth ramps, and cranes powered by human treadmills. Yet Roman cranes could lift a mere 60 to 100 tons at most, and there's no record of the coordinated machines needed to move stones 8 times heavier. Closer to the quarry lie even larger monoliths, the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, nearly 1,000 tons, and a 1,650-ton block still awaiting transport. Who conceived this colossal plan, and why was it never completed? Archaeological surveys reveal no ancient roadbeds, no depictions of specialized equipment, and no logistical records. The quarry's raw blocks sit half-finished, their surfaces still attached to bedrock, hinting at abrupt abandonments. Were the Romans simply building atop the ruins of an earlier civilization? Some scholars argue that a pre-Roman culture laid the massive platform, later adopted and adorned by Julius Caesar's architects. This theory finds support in parallels to other megalithic sites, from Peru's Sacsayhuaman to Egypt's Great Pyramid, where oversized blocks appear inexplicable by contemporary standards. Yet the most compelling theories dwell at the edges of mainstream archaeology. Fringe researchers propose lost technologies, sonic cutters that resonated through stone or lubricated tracks using secret hydraulic techniques. Others whisper of supernatural assistance, rituals invoking earth spirits to lift the unimaginable weight. Might the quarry workers have possessed knowledge now erased from history, or did they harness forces beyond our grasp? As you stand in your mind's eye before those silent giants, consider the human drama they represent. The architects who dared to dream beyond mortal limits, the laborers whose toil remains unrecorded, and the patrons whose ambition reached for the divine. Each massive block remains a testament to an audacious vision, one that challenges us to rethink the boundaries of possibility. Our exploration of colossal stones pauses here, but the quest for forbidden knowledge continues. Next, we journey north to Sweden's National Library, where an enormous medieval manuscript, known as the Codex Gigas, Devil's Bible, awaits with its own dark legends and unbroken mysteries. Hidden within the vaults of Stockholm's Royal Library lies a tome so vast it demands both reverence and apprehension. The Codex Gigas, better known as the Devil's Bible. Imagine stepping into a dimly lit chamber, its air thick with the scent of aged parchment, and beholding a manuscript nearly 4 feet tall and 2 feet wide, its 620 pages bound in heavy oak boards. Weighing some 165 pounds, this colossal codex is not merely a book, but a relic of obsession, ambition, and whispered pact. Created in the early 13th century at the Podlegis Monastery in Bohemia, the Codex Gigas contains the entirety of the Latin Vulgate Bible, alongside texts on history, medicine, astrology, and even a catalogue of demons. Its most haunting feature, however, is the full-page illustration of the devil himself, an image so startling that medieval readers believed the manuscript cursed. Legend holds that the monk Hilarion, condemned to be walled alive for breaking his vows, struck a desperate bargain with Satan, one night to write a compendium of all human knowledge. When dawn broke, the Codex Gigas stood complete, its pages filled with flawless, consistent handwriting, as though penned by one hand over many years rather than one fevered night. Why does this manuscript continue to unnerve scholars? Folklore insists that anyone who attempted to remove the Devil's Bible from its guarded shelf would suffer sudden calamity, a scholar's illness, a fire in his home, even the collapse of local dynasties. In 1648, Swedish troops seized the Codex during the 30 Years' War, and it has not left national custody since. Each time it moves, whether to the National Library or on rare exhibition, the swaying procession seems to awaken dormant fears of the dark arts it contains. Yet beyond the supernatural lore, the Codex Gigas fascinates historians for its technical marvels. The uniform script across 160 calfskin leaves speaks of extraordinary discipline. The illuminated letters, gilded and coloured, reveal an artist's hand adept in both religious solemnity and grotesque expressiveness. Marginalia hint at later editions, exorcism spells, medicinal recipes, and admonitions against sacrilege. Could the Devil's Bible conceal truths we have yet to decipher? Some fringe theorists argue that hidden codes lie beneath its text, ciphers pointing to lost monastic rituals or secret esoteric teachings. Others speculate that the demon illustration serves as a gateway, a visual key to unlock forbidden knowledge for those brave enough to decode its symbolism. As you envision the Codex Gigas resting under lock and key, consider the convergence of faith and fear that birthed it. Here is a testament to human ingenuity, and to the lengths one might go to transcend mortal limitation. The Devil's Bible tells us that every page turned is a step deeper into mystery, and every whisper of legend keeps its power alive. Our journey through sacred and profane manuscripts pauses here, but the ancient world still holds countless secrets. Next, we travel back to the dawn of civilization, where massive circles of stone at Göbekli Tepe challenge our understanding of prehistoric knowledge. Stepping onto the windswept plateau of southeastern Turkey at daybreak, you find yourself surrounded by rings of limestone pillars rising like silent sentinels against the horizon. This is Göbekli Tepe, an ancient sanctuary carved into the earth more than 11,000 years ago, long before the wheel, agriculture, or written language. When German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt cleared away millennia of wind-blown soil in 1994, he revealed colossal T-shaped monoliths reaching up to 6 meters high, each etched with snarling lions, coiled serpents, and prowling foxes. These stones were hewn, transported, and set in place by hunter-gatherers who had not yet domesticated plants. Imagine nomadic bands pausing their wanderings to haul massive blocks across uneven terrain, assembling circular enclosures that prefigure the great temples of later civilizations. How did they coordinate such a feat without permanent settlements or supervisory hierarchies? Archaeologists believe Göbekli Tepe served as a pilgrimage site, a spiritual hearth where once scattered families gathered for ritual feasts and communal ceremonies. Animal bones and charred remains hint at grand banquets, perhaps forging social bonds that spark the leap into agriculture. Yet around 8000 BCE, these very builders undertook a massive project to bury their creation beneath tons of soil and rubble, intentionally sealing it from view. Was this a ceremonial closing of a sacred chapter, or a desperate act to conceal their knowledge from invaders or vanishing faith? Local legends speak of subterranean corridors echoing with faint chanting and drums, stories passed down by villagers who unearthed broken pillar fragments while ploughing fields. Some fringe theorists propose Göbekli Tepe's perfect acoustics enabled sound healing rituals, or that the arrangement of pillars maps the night sky, in a star pattern only known to an elite few. Others whisper of cosmic visitors whose advanced knowledge guided these ancient architects. Though mainstream scholars demand physical proof, the site's abrupt abandonment and unparalleled scale continue to fuel speculation. As you envision torchlight flickering across those weathered carvings, sense the weight of history pressing in from all sides. Each pillar carries the memory of a vanished worldview, one that worshipped in the open air under constellations unpolluted by modern lights. Radiocarbon dates, pollen analysis, and ground-penetrating radar have revealed hidden chambers waiting to be explored, yet Göbekli Tepe remains tightly protected, preserving its mysteries beneath centuries of earth. Our exploration of this prehistoric marvel draws to a close, but the echoes of those first dreamers still call us onward. Next, we journey eastward to the mist-shrouded hills of Shaanxi province, where a gleaming structure rises like a beacon from the past. The White Pyramid of China, a monument as radiant as it is enigmatic. High on a mist-shrouded mountainside in China's Shaanxi province, an American pilot in 1945 reported a gleaming white structure, its four faces catching the sunrise like molten ivory. 2 years later, a second flyer captured grainy photographs of what Western newspapers dubbed the White Pyramid of China. Yet when archaeologists sought to confirm its existence, they found only earthen mounds claimed to be burial sites of ancient emperors. Why does this monument, potentially surpassing Egypt's Great Pyramid, remain locked behind layers of secrecy? The earliest Western accounts describe a pyramid soaring more than 300 meters high, its base stretching over 450 meters per side, dimensions that would dwarf Giza's wonders. Local tradition holds the structure was once sheathed in a brilliant white limestone or clay, reflecting the sun and signaling power across the Yellow River Valley. Satellite imagery from both Russian and Western agencies has since identified geometric embankments and terraces that resemble the outlines of a colossal pyramid buried beneath centuries of loess and brush. So why has no formal excavation ever taken place? China's imperial tombs are deemed sacred ground. Disturbing the final resting places of emperors risks not only spiritual taboo, but political controversy. Official reports insist the White Pyramid is merely an earthen mound from the Qin or Tang dynasties, but access remains tightly controlled. Only a handful of local scholars have surveyed the area, and their findings are seldom published. Even remote sensing data is classified, as if the land itself guards its secrets. Mainstream archaeologists offer pragmatic explanations: natural hills carved by erosion, or modest burial mounds misinterpreted by pilots unfamiliar with the region's topography. But these accounts struggle to explain consistent terrace patterns visible on high-resolution satellite maps. Moreover, villagers recount that during floods the mounds glint like polished marble, an echo of once lustrous surfaces now buried beneath centuries of soil. Fringe theories add further intrigue. Some researchers propose the White Pyramid predates recorded Chinese history, constructed by a lost civilization whose architectural mastery rivaled that of Egypt or the Maya. Others speculate on astronomical alignments. Could this monument function as an ancient observatory, its faces oriented to solstices or key constellations? More radical voices even suggest extraterrestrial involvement, pointing to the impossibility of moving stone blocks of such scale without advanced technology. As you imagine trekking across those terraces, feeling the crunch of loess underfoot and the wind whipping across forgotten ramparts, consider the human drama at play: emperors seeking immortality, laborers carving earth into geometric precision, and modern governments balancing heritage protection with global curiosity. The White Pyramid remains a mirror reflecting our own thirst for discovery and the persistent allure of the unknown. Our journey through colossal enigmas pauses here, but the tombs of Alexandria beckon with equal mystery. Next, we travel to Egypt to unseal the black sarcophagus of Alexandria, a granite coffin whose dark secrets rival any pyramid's glitter. High tides lapping the waterfront of Alexandria, Egypt, once revealed a secret buried for centuries, a monolithic sarcophagus carved from black granite, 3 meters long and weighing nearly 30 tons. When construction workers unearthed this ominous coffin in the summer of 2018, no inscription marked its owner. Only smooth, polished stone sealed the identity of whoever lay within. Tonight we confront the enigma of the black sarcophagus and ask, whose story remains entombed in this shadowy vault? As archaeologists pried open the lid, a foul stench erupted, thick, brackish water mixed with centuries of decay. Inside lay 3 skeletons, stacked like chess pieces, 2 men and a woman, their bones bleached and fragmented. No golden riches glinted in the gloom, no hieroglyphs whispered titles or dates. Carbon dating would later place the burials in the 4th century BCE, a time when Alexandria thrived as the Hellenistic world's intellectual and cultural heart. So why here, in this grand city, would such an extravagant coffin be used for apparently ordinary individuals? Mainstream scholars offer pragmatic clues. Black granite, quarried from Aswan more than 1,000 kilometers away, represented the pinnacle of wealth and craftsmanship, typically reserved for pharaohs or high priests. To entomb commoners in such a container defied convention. Some propose these were removed nobles or exiled royals, stripped of titles by political upheaval and cast into anonymity. Others suspect victims of sudden plague or massacre, honored in secrecy by ransomed families. Yet practical explanations only deepen the mystery. Where are the funerary goods, the masks, the amulets that secured passage into the afterlife? Why were 3 bodies placed together rather than in the grand single burials of elite tombs? And what of the plaster seal across the lid's edge, an official sign that the contents were not meant to be disturbed, yet left no hint of identity? Fringe theories swirl around curses and conspiracies. Local legend claims that workmen who opened the sarcophagus fell ill with fever and hallucinations, fueling whispers of vengeful spirits. Some occult circles tout the coffin as a repository of forbidden texts, scrolls or artifacts so dangerous they were sealed away under layers of stone and time. Even more daring speculation links the sarcophagus to the missing remains of Alexander the Great himself, whose tomb vanished millennia ago. Could this be the final resting place of the conqueror, hidden in plain sight? As you imagine the flicker of torchlight against that black granite, sense the weight of history pressing down, the ambitions of empire, the fragility of memory, and the secrets we bury to protect or to hide. Each unanswered question rotates like a key in a lock, urging us onward. From Alexandria's dark sarcophagus, our journey now charts across oceans and centuries. Next, we unroll the secrets of a 16th century Ottoman admiral whose map defies time and ice. The Piri Reis Map awaits. Imagine unrolling a fragile parchment in a dimly lit archive, its edges brittle with age, yet revealing coastlines astonishingly true to life. This is the 1513 chart of Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, drawn from over 20 ancient maps, some said to date back to Greek and Roman voyages. On its surface appear the western shores of Africa, the eastern bulge of South America, and most perplexing of all, the northern reaches of Antarctica, sketched without a trace of ice. How did a navigator in the early 16th century depict lands no European would officially reach for centuries? Piri Reis himself claimed to use maps of Columbus and charts captured from Alexander the Great's seafarers, though none of those originals survive. What remains is a single fragment, yet it challenged scholars when rediscovered in 1929. The precision of its latitude lines and the accuracy of its coastal curves outshine many later cartographic efforts. Mainstream historians suggest copying errors or misinterpretations, perhaps a distorted drawing of South America mistaken for a southern continent. But the symmetry and proportion found on Piri Reis Map defy such simple explanations. To conceive such detail without telescopes, satellites, or even reliable chronometers seems almost impossible. Some researchers propose that Piri Reis inherited knowledge from a long-lost maritime culture, an advanced seafaring people whose surveying techniques predate modern navigation. Others whisper of pre-Ice Age expeditions, suggesting that an ancient civilization charted Antarctica before glacial ice buried its beaches. Fringe theories even hint at Atlantis as the original source, a sunken empire whose nautical secrets washed ashore in scattered fragments of parchment. As you trace the faded ink with your finger, consider the human drive behind this map, the desire to chart the unknown, to bind the edges of the world with the lines of understanding. Imagine Piri Reis poring over his sources by lantern light, tirelessly copying and correcting, determined to stitch together a comprehensive tapestry of the known seas. When this chart entered the Topkapi Palace collection in Istanbul, it became an object of both pride and mystery for the Ottoman court. No explorer, no scholar dared question its accuracy, yet no one could fully explain it. Today, high-resolution satellite scans confirm geometric outlines beneath layers of snow and ice that align with Piri Reis's vision, rekindling wonder at his achievement. Locked away under glass, the map continues to whisper of voyages unrecorded, of sailors who crossed horizons long before history could keep pace. Its blend of undeniable fact and tantalizing possibility reminds us that our quest to understand the world is never-ending. From the marvels of ancient cartography, our journey now turns to the vast plains of North America, where the distinctive spear points of a vanished people pose a new riddle. Next, we explore the vanishing of the Clovis people. A biting wind sweeps over the ancient grasslands where the Clovis people once thrived. Master flint knappers whose razor-sharp points split mammoth hides and felled giant bison. In the 1930s, archaeologists in New Mexico uncovered distinctive, fluted spear tips dating back some 13,000 years, spread from Colorado's river valleys to Texas's rolling plains and beyond. Campsites reveal hearths still stained with ash, bone fragments strewn beside carefully crafted blades, and stone flakes marking bustling workshops. Yet within a mere few centuries, the Clovis legacy evaporates, leaving behind only scattered flecks of flint and unanswered questions. By 11,000 BCE, Clovis points vanish from the record in a sudden continent-wide disappearance. Many scholars point to dramatic climate upheaval. As ice sheets receded, grasslands gave way to dense forests, and the megafauna that sustained Clovis hunters, mammoths, mastodons, giant sloths, dwindled into extinction. Radiocarbon analyses of peat bogs show soaring levels of charcoal, evidence of massive wildfires that blotted out sunlight and scorched the land. In an era when survival hinged on big game hunts, such ecological shock may have shattered the Clovis world almost overnight. Others argue for cosmic intervention. At several Clovis sites, a thin layer of carbonized black matte soil contains glassy carbon spheres and nickel-iron fragments resembling meteorite debris. Could a comet or meteor airburst have ignited forests, unleashed toxic dust clouds, and plunged the continent into a deadly winter? If so, even the fiercest Clovis warriors armed with their finest spear points would have faced a peril far greater than any animal. Still, human drama may have played its part. Rival bands competing for dwindling resources might have descended into conflict. Pathogens carried by migrating groups could have spread disease among isolated Clovis communities, and some tantalizing folk tales passed down by Native American tribes speak of vanished people who retreated into subterranean caverns, lost clans whose descendants remain hidden beneath the earth. Imagine standing at a Clovis campfire, smoke curling towards star-pricked skies, rain pattering on hides stretched over wooden frames, families pressing dried meat between stone slabs. In that fleeting warmth, the ingenuity of a people at the dawn of the American story burned bright. Yet as you step back into the wind-swept silence, only fragments of flint whisper of a culture that mastered the hunt and then slipped beyond our grasp. Their legacy lingers in every chipped blade and every carbon date that pushes back the frontier of human habitation. And as we piece together their story, our curiosity takes us still further into the world of hidden wonders. Next, we turn to a cryptic manuscript in Hungary whose undeciphered script puzzles linguists and codebreakers alike, the Rohong Codex. A hush falls over the archive shelves of a small Hungarian library where a weathered leather binding conceals pages that defy every rule of writing. This is the Rohong Codex, discovered in the early 19th century in the town of Rohong. Its rough parchment leaves filled with over 400 pages of incomprehensible script. Unlike any known alphabet, its swirling symbols refuse to yield meaning, trapping the world's greatest linguists and cryptographers in fascination. The codex first surfaced in 1817 when a local noble donated the tome to a private collection. Scholars rushed to examine its contents, only to find hundreds of unique characters, none resembling Latin, Greek, or any Semitic script. Interspersed among the text are more than 80 illustrations, ritual masks, dancing figures, constellations unfamiliar to astronomers, and scenes that blend Christian iconography with pagan motifs. Some pages depict hybrid beasts, serpents coiled around chalices, winged humans bearing torches, images that linger in the mind long after the book is closed. Why has the Rohong Codex resisted every attempt at translation? Modern computational analysis reveals no repeating patterns typical of spoken language. Frequency studies that cracked other codes, like the Voynich manuscript, falter here. The script's variability suggests an invented language or a cipher so elaborate that its own creator could never return to decipher it. Marginal notes in faded ink hint at attempts by monks and later by Austro-Hungarian cryptographers, all ending in frustrated silence. Local legend weaves a darker allure. The codex was penned by a secret sect sworn to protect forbidden knowledge. They wrote in a tongue only initiates could speak, embedding spells to guard their secrets. Some claim that the manuscript's true purpose was not to convey meaning, but to serve as a ritual object, each page a key in an arcane ceremony never meant to be read by outsiders. Imagine opening the codex at midnight, lantern light dancing over pages that whisper of lost doctrines. The air grows heavy as your eyes strain to discern logic in the chaos of symbols. A sudden breeze rustles the pages and you feel a presence just beyond your vision, a reminder that some knowledge carries a price. Despite advanced imaging techniques, multispectral scans, ultraviolet photography, no hidden glosses or undermarked clues have been revealed. Every hidden fold, every faint stain has been documented, yet the core mystery remains. The Rohong Codex stands as both a triumph of human creativity and a monument to the limits of our understanding. As you close the leather cover and step away from those silent shelves, let the Codex's unsolved pages echo in your mind. Its story, shrouded in secrecy and speculation, compels us deeper into the unknown. From cryptic manuscripts to stone spheres, our expedition continues to Costa Rica, where the stone spheres of Costa Rica await with their own round riddles. In the dense tropical forests and misty coastal plains of Costa Rica lies a silent army of stone sentinels, hundreds of nearly perfect spheres carved from hard granodiorite and scattered like cosmic marbles across fields and riverbanks. Some fit in the palm of your hand, while others tower over 6 feet tall and tip the scales at 16 tons. No one knows who shaped these orbs, why they labored to make them so round, or what purpose they served in a society that left no written record. First uncovered in the 1930s by banana plantation workers, the spheres instantly captivated archaeologists. Careful surveys date them to between 600 and 1000 CE, yet no indigenous chronicle mentions their creation. The stone's surfaces are smooth, their contours mathematically precise, so precise that even modern laser-guided tools struggle to match their perfection. How did a pre-wheel culture transport and polish blocks of granodiorite without metal tools or wheeled carts? Local legends speak of the spheres as gifts from sky gods, magical talismans that mark the territory of ancient chieftains. Some villagers claim that during full moons the orbs emit a low hum, as if resonating with hidden frequencies in the earth. Scientists, meanwhile, propose more terrestrial explanations. Symbols of social hierarchy, used to designate plazas and sacred spaces, markers of astronomical events aligning with solstices and equinoxes, or tools in ceremonial games long since forgotten. Excavations reveal that many spheres once rested on flat, paved surfaces, forming geometric alignments that suggest careful planning. Stone workshops uncovered nearby held thousands of flakes and cores, indicating on-site production, but no quarry site has been definitively identified. Workers must have transported massive boulders from kilometers away, dragging them across rivers and hills. Some spheres show faint striations, evidence of wooden sledges or rollers, yet the final polishing process remains a mystery. As you picture these silent globes, imagine the human effort behind each one: hands chipping away with stone hammers, eyes squinting against glare, arms straining to move a single block. Feel the communal pride of a people striving for perfection, their legacy chiseled into the landscape. Yet each unanswered question: who decided where to place the spheres? What ceremonies took place beneath their shadow? Pulls us deeper into the unknown. Fringe theories inject even more wonder. Tales of ancient navigators mapping celestial spheres on Earth, or Atlantean voyagers who brought their cosmology to Costa Rica's shores. While mainstream archaeology demands testable evidence, the sheer elegance and ubiquity of these orbs refuse to fit neatly into conventional explanations. These stone spheres stand as a testament to creativity and mystery, inviting us to ponder the ingenuity of peoples lost to history. As the jungle reclaims their polished surfaces, they beckon explorers to uncover their stories. Our voyage into ancient enigmas continues to echo across continents and epochs. Next, we journey beneath the waves of prehistory to rediscover a sunken land that once bridged continents. Prepare to explore Doggerland, the Atlantis of Europe. Imagine standing on a windswept shoreline where, instead of crashing waves, your feet sink into soft, ancient peat, a remnant of a land long swallowed by the sea. This was Doggerland, a fertile expanse that once linked Britain to continental Europe, a prehistoric paradise teeming with rivers, forests, and roaming herds of mammoths and reindeer. As sea levels rose at the close of the last ice age, this lush world slipped beneath the North Sea, leaving only tantalizing fragments for modern scientists and dreamers to piece together. Archaeologists first glimpsed Doggerland in the 19th century when North Sea trawlers dredged up flint tools and tusk fragments. These artifacts, scattered across the seabed, hinted at human settlements that vanished with the tides. Today, seismic surveys, originally used by oil companies, reveal sunken river valleys and submerged forests, mapping landscapes where our Mesolithic ancestors hunted, fished, and foraged. How did these early communities adapt to a land slowly disappearing beneath cold, encroaching waters? Mainstream researchers propose a gradual inundation. Melting glaciers steadily raised sea levels over millennia, transforming plains into marshes and finally open sea. Coastal camps would have shifted inland, following game and crops until, around 5500 BCE, the last highlands slipped beneath the waves. But evidence of a colossal tsunami around 8200 BCE, triggered by a submarine landslide off Norway, suggests a more violent chapter. One moment, Doggerland stretched as far as the eye could see. The next, entire villages may have been swept away by towering walls of water. Yet tragedy breeds speculation. Fringe theorists wonder, could survivors have retreated to hidden valleys, maintaining a secret culture beneath a new shoreline? Some claim submerged structures, stone circles and alignments linger beneath the mud, waiting for divers to reveal them. Others draw parallels to Plato's Atlantis, arguing that memories of Doggerland fed legends of a sunken empire, transformed over generations into myth. As you picture that lost world, children gathering berries by meandering streams, hunters tracking elk through birch groves, notice the contrasts: a land of plenty one day, a watery grave the next. Food sources vanished, migration routes shifted, and a once thriving society faced an existential crisis without precedent. What drove them onward? Determination, desperation, hope that new lands would offer fresh beginnings. Today, as fishermen haul up ancient tusks and flint axes, and as scientists model submerged landscapes with cutting-edge sonar, Doggerland's story emerges from silence. It reminds us that our planet's shape is not fixed, that Earth itself is alive with shifting currents and hidden histories. From the sunken valleys of Europe, our journey now turns to the scarlet quarries of ancient Egypt, where a massive obelisk, carved in place but never launched, still lies embedded in Aswan's granite. Prepare to uncover the mystery of the unfinished obelisk of Aswan. Sunlight dances across the fiery red granite of Aswan's northern quarries, illuminating a colossal monument that never saw its glory. The unfinished obelisk. Carved directly into the bedrock some 3,500 years ago under Queen Hatshepsut's reign, this gigantic obelisk would have stood over 41 meters tall, twice the height of its counterparts at Karnak, and weighed roughly 200 tons. Yet today it lies in its birthplace, its base still attached to the parent rock, a silent testament to ambition interrupted. Imagine the scene: hundreds of skilled artisans and laborers gathered in rhythmic unison, pounding dolerite balls against the granite face to shape its three polished sides. They drilled a series of holes along its intended outline and wedged dry wooden beams into the slots. When the sun's heat and ensuing irrigation caused the wood to swell, the granite would split along the line. This ingenious technique, evidenced by the deep, regular channel marks, showcases the Egyptians' mastery of physics and patience. But then a crack formed, a hairline fracture running through the obelisk's length, rendering it structurally unsound. The project was abandoned, and the world's largest stone monolith remained grounded. Why did the crack appear? Some Egyptologists attribute it to a flaw in the granite itself. Hidden fissures that only became apparent under the stress of carving. Others whisper of a far more dramatic cause, an earthquake rumbling through the Nile Valley, its tremors thwarting the completion of an edifice meant to reach the heavens. If so, the unfinished obelisk stands as both victim and memoir of nature's untamable power. Yet the human story etched into that pink-hued rock is equally compelling. Queen Hatshepsut, one of Egypt's rare female pharaohs, sought to cement her legacy by commissioning a monument to rival those of her forebears. Her vision propelled men to move a mountain, only to have fate intervene. The same granite quarries later supplied obelisks that now punctuate cities from London to New York, but none matches the sheer scale of this abandoned giant. Could there be secrets hidden within its broken form? Fringe researchers propose that the obelisk's orientation and the barely visible hieroglyphs near its base encode astronomical alignments, perhaps marking solstices or cosmic events unknown to us. Some New Age theorists venture that the crack itself was an intentional failsafe, a way to protect sacred energies from being unleashed. While mainstream scholarship demands hard evidence, the obelisk's incomplete grandeur continues to fuel imagination. As you stand before this colossal relic, its three polished faces gleaming in the desert sun, and its unfinished side still fused to the ground, feel the weight of human aspiration pressing against the limits of material and the whims of nature. The unfinished obelisk reminds us that even the most meticulous plans can fracture under unseen forces. Our journey through stone wonders pauses here, but the carved marvels of Ellora await across the globe. Next, we travel to India's Maharashtra state, where a single mountain was sculpted from the top down to create the Kailasa temple, an architectural masterpiece hewn entirely from rock. High atop the Sahyadri hills in Maharashtra, a single mountain gave birth to the world's largest monolithic temple, Kailasa at Ellora. Imagine standing on its marble-white courtyard, looking up at a towering structure hewn entirely from living rock. Walls, pillars, shrines, and sculptures carved from the top down in one continuous stroke. This impossible wonder, completed in the 8th century under Rashtrakuta King Krishna III, defies every conventional notion of ancient architecture. Artisans began at the summit, chipping away 400,000 tons of basalt, working downward to reveal a temple twice the size of the Parthenon. Picture hundreds of craftsmen wielding hammers and chisels, their sweat mixing with dust as they shaped 30 meters of rock into vaulted halls and intricate reliefs. One legend tells of Queen Jakuta Devi, who fasted until the temple's central spire was crowned, her vow fueling a frenzy of labor that carved the mountain in just 18 years. How could a society without cranes or iron tools transform a monolith into a sacred city in stone? Walk through the grand entrance, flanked by life-size elephants and wrestlers carved in deep relief, their forms frozen mid-motion. Light filters through open courtyards onto the central shrine of Mount Meru, where Shiva's linga stands in silent reverence. Each surface bursts with iconography, dancing apsaras, fierce guardians, and mythic scenes drawn from the Puranas. The rhythm of carving is evident in the consistent depth of each swirl and spiral, as if a single hand guided every stroke. Yet mysteries linger beneath the temple's grandeur. No nearby quarry yields matching basalt blocks, suggesting all materials came from the mountain itself. How did workers manage drainage, ventilation, and waste removal deep within the rock? Some scholars propose hidden tunnels, engineering marvels that circulated cool air and channeled rainwater away from sacred spaces. Others whisper of secret inscriptions etched behind hidden panels containing lost mantras or maps to subterranean chambers. The temple's alignment adds another layer of wonder. On equinox mornings, sunlight pierces the eastern gates, illuminating the sanctum with a golden glow. Was this deliberate, a cosmic invitation for the faithful, or a serendipitous gift of natural harmony? Fringe theories suggest astronomer priests charted the stars to achieve celestial precision, embedding cosmic symbolism into every pillar and beam. As you trace your fingers over weathered stone, feel the collective heartbeat of generations, the devotion fueling each chisel strike, the hushed chants echoing through empty corridors, and the steadfast belief that faith can move mountains, literally. Kailasa stands as both monument and miracle, a testament to human vision pressed against the unyielding resistance of nature. Our journey through monolithic marvels pauses here, but the spirit of discovery propels us onward across centuries and seas. Next, we sail to Egypt's storied coast, where scrolls of papyrus once filled a grand repository. The lost library of Alexandria beckons with its tale of knowledge and oblivion. Imagine wandering through sunlit colonnades lined with marble shelves, each bearing scrolls that whispered the wisdom of antiquity. Poems of Homer, treatises of Euclid, histories of Herodotus, and secrets from Persia and India. This was the Library of Alexandria, the beating heart of learning in the ancient world. Founded in the early 3rd century BCE under Ptolemy I Sota and expanded by Ptolemy II Philadelphus, the library formed part of the Mausion, a temple of the Muses where the greatest minds convened to translate, debate, and innovate. From scholars like Euclid, who laid the foundations of geometry, to Eratosthenes, who measured Earth's circumference with startling accuracy, Alexandria's halls echoed with groundbreaking ideas. Ships docking at the harbour were required to surrender their books for copying. The originals were retained and the copies returned, a policy that swelled the collection to hundreds of thousands of scrolls. Imagine the thrill of discovery as scribes unrolled papyrus after papyrus, revealing lost epics, scientific theories, and philosophical dialogues that pushed the boundaries of human thought. Yet how does a beacon of knowledge become a victim of its own fame? In 48 BCE, Julius Caesar, besieged in the city, ordered a fire that spread to warehouses near the docks. Accounts differ on how many scrolls perished, but the blaze marked the first blow. Over ensuing centuries, political upheavals, religious edicts, and neglect chipped away at the library's holdings. The Serapeum, the daughter library housed in the Temple of Serapis, met its end in the late 4th century CE amid decrees to destroy pagan shrines. By the time Arab conqueror Amr ibn al-As seized Alexandria in 642 CE, the once gleaming archives had dwindled to ashes and memory. What vanished with those scrolls? Works by Sappho and Sophocles, volumes on advanced medicine, treatises on engineering that might have accelerated technological revolutions, all lost in a slow-motion catastrophe. The library's demise reminds us that knowledge, no matter how revered, remains fragile in the face of war, ideology, and human error. Legends sprang up in the wake of destruction. That the library's flames illuminated the sky for days, or that secret repositories survived in hidden vaults beneath the city. Medieval writers hinted that a handful of scrolls escaped, carried to Constantinople, or hidden by devoted custodians. Yet none of these whispers yielded concrete proof. The scrolls, like so many dreams, remain ghosts. As you picture those corridors of learning consumed by flame or abandoned to dust, feel the weight of loss that stretched across millennia. The Library of Alexandria was not merely a building, but a symbol of humanity's collective curiosity and ambition, a reminder that preserving knowledge demands vigilance and care. Our pilgrimage through history's marvels continues beyond the realm of books and scrolls. Next we turn to a small but enigmatic relic of the Roman Empire, a 12-sided bronze mystery found from England to Hungary, the Roman Dodecahedra. On windswept riverbanks and hidden hoards across Europe, artisans of the Roman Empire left behind a curious artifact, the dodecahedron. You've likely seen photos, bronze objects with 12 flat pentagonal faces, each perforated by circular holes, their corners adorned with small knobs. Ranging in size from a golf ball to a grapefruit, and dating from the 2nd to 4th centuries CE, these 12-sided puzzles appear from Britain to Hungary, yet not one is mentioned in Roman texts. What were these mysterious instruments, and why has their purpose eluded us for nearly 2 millennia? Archaeologists have uncovered over 130 examples of Roman dodecahedra, most crafted from bronze alloys and meticulously cast with remarkable uniformity. No two dodecahedra are identical. Each varies in diameter, hole size, and knob placement. Found in graves, villas, and military sites, they clearly held value, yet they bear no inscriptions or decorative motifs that hint at their use. Were they tools of trade, ritual objects, or simple toys for the wealthy? Practical theories abound. Some scholars propose the dodecahedra served as knitting gauges, helping craftsmen produce woolen gloves with precise finger openings, each hole corresponding to a different finger size. Others suggest a calendrical function, aligning the object with the sun's rays through specific holes to mark solstices or equinoxes, a portable sundial of elegant geometry. Yet the varied dimensions and inconsistent hole patterns across examples make a single, universal use unlikely. More intriguing are the ritual and symbolic hypotheses. The number 12 resonated deeply in Roman culture. 12 months, 12 zodiac signs, 12 major gods, leading some to view the dodecahedron as a ceremonial talisman, perhaps used in divination or initiation rites. Could priests have rolled or spun them in sacred ceremonies, interpreting which hole the light passed through as an oracle's message? Fringe theories push the envelope further, positing that these objects were ancient surveying instruments or even astrological markers. Some experimenters have attempted to measure distances by sighting landmarks through paired holes, while others have superimposed celestial charts, looking for alignments that mirror the dodecahedron's geometry. Yet no definitive experiment has reproduced a consistent practical result. Imagine holding one of these cold bronze polyhedra in your hand, its panels gleaming with patina, knobs cool beneath your fingers. Sense the craftsmanship and ponder the void at its center. An object both precise and enigmatic, as if designed to challenge the mind. The emptiness isn't a flaw but an invitation, urging you to peer through each portal for answers that drift just beyond reach. Despite centuries of study, the Roman dodecahedron remains a cipher of antiquity, neither weapon nor coin, neither standard measure nor simple ornament. It stands in its silent complexity as a testament to Roman ingenuity and our enduring fascination with the unknown. Our voyage through history's puzzles continues, shifting from metal enigmas to natural marvels. Next we head to the sun-baked dry lake beds of Death Valley, where stones seem to glide across the parched earth all on their own. Prepare to uncover the moving stones of Death Valley. A pale dawn mist settles over the cracked clay of racetrack playa in Death Valley, and the ground lies eerily still until you notice long trails snaking across its surface, as if invisible giants dragged stones on silent sleds. These are the sailing stones, ranging from fist-sized pebbles to boulders weighing hundreds of pounds, each leaving a crooked line etched in the hardened mud. No human hand, no beast, and for decades, no convincing explanation, until a team of scientists captured the stones in motion. In December 2013, researchers Richard Norris and James Norris set out to solve this desert riddle. They placed GPS tags on select rocks, installed weather stations, and trained time-lapse cameras on the flat expanse. 2 years later, they recorded the moment of truth. On a frigid night, rainwater spread across the playa to a shallow film of just a few centimeters. When temperatures dipped below freezing, a thin veneer of window pane ice formed around the stones. As the morning sun cracked the ice into large floating panels, A gentle breeze, no more than 5 meters per second, pushed these ice sheets against the rocks, sliding them slowly but steadily across the slick mud. How remarkable that such delicate forces, a wafer-thin ice sheet and a light breeze, could mobilize stones weighing over 300 kilograms. One rock, once tagged at over 20 kilograms, traveled more than 60 meters in a single push. The resulting furrows, some stretching hundreds of meters, endure for years until new rains and winds erase their paths. Yet even this elegant solution only deepens the wonder. Why don't all stones move at once? Why do some remain locked in place until months of perfect conditions align? And what role does the player's slick algal film play, lowering friction and enabling that ghostly glide? Each new answer invites another question, reminding us that nature's simplest spectacles can defy our expectations. Imagine standing at the edge of that bone-dry lake bed, the sun climbing and cracking the ice beneath your feet, listening to the snap of thawing crystals before your eyes, witness a silent stone inch across the ground. The air vibrates with mystery, an elegant interplay of ice, water, wind, and sediment, choreographed by the desert's harsh rhythms. Scientists compare this phenomenon to a natural Rube Goldberg machine, each element essential to set the stones in motion. But the real marvel lies in the stones themselves, mute witnesses to environmental choreography written in the most fragile scripts of nature. As heat rises across that barren expanse and the sunburned ground reclaims its secrets, the moving stones of Death Valley remind us that even the driest, most desolate places harbor hidden dances waiting to be revealed. Our exploration of Earth's enigmas sails onward from desert puzzles to buried corridors. Next, we journey to the Fayum oasis of Egypt to uncover the lost labyrinth of Hawara, a maze of stone and legend that challenges every assumption about ancient architecture. 21st century travelers stand where, 2 millennia ago, an immense stone labyrinth once sprawled across Egypt's Fayum oasis. Called the Hawara Labyrinth by ancient historians, this underground marvel was said to rival and surpass the pyramids in both scale and complexity. Yet today, no marble colonnade nor painted corridor remains in the shifting sands. What forces conspired to bury and then conceal this fabled maze? According to the Greek historian Herodotus, whom critics accused of exaggeration, the labyrinth lay near the pyramid of Amenemhat III and boasted 12 covered courtyards, 6 north, 6 south, interlinked by a tangle of corridors and chambers numbered in the thousands. He wrote that if all the works of the Greeks were put together, they would not equal this labyrinth in labor and expense. Imagine soaring roofs, walls adorned with hieroglyphs and frescoes, and chambers dedicated to deities and royal tombs, all hewn from local limestone and linked in a subterranean city. Yet after the Second Intermediate Period, references vanish. By the Roman era, the labyrinth had slipped into legend. Millennia later, in 2008, geophysical surveys near Hawara finally detected anomalies beneath the desert surface, echoes of vast voids and passageways. Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass announced the rediscovery of what might be those hidden corridors. Radar scans revealed patterns consistent with burial chambers and large halls, but excavation remains prohibited. Officials cite national security concerns and the site's vulnerability to looters and collapse. Why was this masterpiece abandoned and sealed away? Some scholars argue that changing political tides, shifts in capital cities, religious transitions, or economic decline made the upkeep of such a monumental necropolis untenable. Flooding from the Bar Youssef Canal may have flooded lower levels, prompting caretakers to entomb and move on. Others point to the Temple of Sobek, worship of the crocodile god, which once stood atop the complex. perhaps the cult's waning power sealed the labyrinth's fate. Local folklore deepens the mystery. Villagers speak of dreams haunted by distant drips of water and flickering torches underground. They tell of ghostly keepers who once barred entrance, their voices echoing off unseen walls. Even the Arabic name Al-Labyrinth evokes awe and subtle fear, hinting that some passages might still slumber beneath centuries of sediment. Fringe theories propose that the Hawara labyrinth held scrolls of forbidden knowledge, treatises on lost technologies, or esoteric rites so powerful they were intentionally sealed from posterity. Others suggest secret maps drawn on the walls, guiding worthy initiates toward hidden chambers filled with treasures and papyri now lost forever. As you envision descending into those silent halls, torchlight dancing on carved pillars, the hush of air laden with millennia, the labyrinth emerges as both monument and riddle. Its buried stones speak of ambition and reverence, of kings who commanded the earth to yield palaces beneath the sands, and of later generations who chose silence over ruin. Our descent into Egypt's subterranean enigma ends here, but our exploration of history's hidden corridors continues. Next, we embark on a journey through the shifting sands of time, where buried stories await discovery. As we've seen on this whirlwind journey from the enigmatic corridors of the lost labyrinth of Hawara to the silent dance of Death Valley's moving stones, history is far from a closed book. It's a living tapestry woven from stone, ice, parchment, and myth, each thread inviting us to look closer, ask deeper questions, and embrace the wonder of the unknown. Whether it's the colossal ambitions of ancient emperors, the delicate precision of prehistoric artisans, or the ghostly echoes of buried cities, these mysteries remind us that every corner of our world still holds stories waiting to be uncovered. And as long as curiosity burns within us, the adventure never ends. If you've enjoyed exploring these unsolved mysteries, make sure to subscribe to Sleepy History Chronicles. Your support helps us dive even deeper into the secrets of the past. Tap the notification bell so you won't miss our next voyage into history's greatest riddles. Until then, keep wondering, keep questioning, and we'll see you in the next episode.